Homeschooling bill stuck in the Illinois House. Some lawmakers say it doesn't have enough support, and one Peoria Homeschool Association board member says it could do more harm than good. That bill would require parents to file a declaration of intent to homeschool with the Regional Office of Education and to submit lessons or schoolwork in the event of a truancy investigation. Democratic State Representative Tara Costa Howard introduced that bill last summer and claims there aren't enough regulations now. She also says the bill could help children experiencing abuse or neglect in the home. Peoria Area Association of Christian Homeschoolers board member Arcasia Cox says many homeschooling parents, including herself, have concerns about the bill. She says she is worried about the state having control over curriculum, truancy officers meeting alone with kids for interviews, and an extra record-keeping task assigned to busy parents.
It really creates a tremendous burden on homeschooling families, and it prevents us from focusing our time and our energy on our children and in their educational needs that they have.
She says the bill lays out only 3 days for parents to declare homeschooling if they pull their kids from school mid-year, saying that's not enough time. The bill has now been amended to offer more details on the declaration form and to require private schools verify a student's attendance only if there is a truancy investigation.